Good morning, everyone. May I request everyone to take the seat? God is the best listener. You don't need to shout, cry out loud, because He hears even the very silent prayer of the sincere heart. Let us begin our today's function with a beautiful prayer, Saraswati Vandana. May I request Ms. Tanuvin Rathod, member of our staff, to recite us the Saraswati Vandana. Thank you. May I now request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly come forward and light the lamp. Every auspicious task begins after lighting of the lamp. The lamp is lit to seek the divine blessings. Sir, please. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice R.M. Chaya, Judge, High Court of Gujarat, and the Executive Chairman, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, to come and formally welcome our today's guests.
Very warm good morning to all and namaskar to all. Legal luminaries adorning the dais, Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Kumar, Director in Chief, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority and Chief Justice High Court of Gujarat, Honorable Mr. Justice C.K. Thakur, former Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Ms. Justice Sonia Gokani, Chairperson High Court Legal Services Committee and Judge High Court of Gujarat, my esteemed sister and brother judges, Mr. Kamal Bhai Trivedi, Learned Advocate General, Mr. Devang Vyas, Learned Additional Solicitor General, Mr. K.R. Trivedi, Chairman Bar Council of Gujarat, Mr. Rasim Pandya, Learned Senior Advocate and President, Gujarat High Court Advocates Association, Mr. Mitesh Amin, Learned Public Prosecutor, Mr. R.K. Desai, Registrar General High Court of Gujarat, Mr. J.L. Oredra, Secretary High Court Legal Services Committee, Mr. Rahul Trivedi, Member Secretary Gujarat State Legal Service Authority, other learned members of the registry, brothers and sisters from our fraternity, and respected invitees and media persons. I'm extremely privileged to make the welcome address of inaugural session of first Mega Lok Adalat of the year 2022. My pleasure gets double for the reason that this session is inaugurated in the gracious presence of an eminent jurist of this country, Mr. Justice C.K. Thakur, former judge of the Supreme Court of India. And the first acting Chief Justice of this new building. My lords, that the first acting Chief Justice on 16th of January 1999. The illustrious personality of Honorable Mr. Justice Thakur does not need any introduction to this house. His Lordship started his practice in the year 1968 in this court and was elevated as a judge of this court in the year 1990. His Lordship then became the Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court in the year 2000. His Lordship then was elevated as a Judge Supreme Court of India in the year 2004. Legal acumen of His Lordships is alien to none. His Lordships, being the author of many books, holds the status as live encyclopedia of administrative law. And to my knowledge, very except few, including our Honorable Chief Justice, all must have studied administrative law by studying book authored by my lords. An outstanding academician, a great jurist, and above all, a great human being. Honorable Mr. Justice Thakur is a call of galaxy of legal luminaries of this country. I, on behalf of the State Legal Services Authority and the High Court Legal Services Committee, cordially welcome Honorable my Lord Justice Thakur. As we all know, Lok Adalat means people's court. It is not guided by any codified legal principles, and it is not intended to adjudicate the case. Rather, it is intended to settle the disputes between the parties, and hence the significance of Lok Adalat in legal system hardly needs to be debated. We are extremely privileged to have with us Honorable the Chief Justice and Patron-in-Chief Justice Arvind Kumar, whose tenacious and tireless efforts has brought the result that present inaugural function is organized. His Lordship always strives hard for institutional development. His Lordship holds a vision to see that legal system in the state should be such that effective, timely, and cost-saving justice is delivered to the litigants. His Lordship has taken personal interest and persuaded all the stakeholders to involve themselves in the system of Lok Adalat. I am sure these great efforts of His Lordships will get best results from the members of the bar. I hereby give very warm and cordial welcome to my lords. I also heartily welcome my esteemed sister colleague, Honorable Mr. Justice Sonia Bell, Chairperson, High Court Legal Services Committee and Judge of this court, whose sensitive approach to vulnerable sections of the society is applauded by all the stakeholders in the system. I also take this opportunity to welcome all my sister and brother judges. I also welcome Sri Kamalbhai Trivedi, Learned Advocate General, Mr. Devang Vyas, Learned Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Mitesh Amin, Learned Public Prosecutor, Ms. Manisha Ben Kumar, Learned Government Leader, Sri Asim Pandya, President Gujarat High Court Bar Association, and Mr. K.R. Trivedi, President Bar Council of India, Gujarat. I also heartily welcome all large number of lawyers and stakeholders present in this inaugural session of Lok Adalat, and I thank all of them for their extended cooperation. And I'm sure the spirit in which the present Lok Adalat, under the able guidance of Honorable the Chief Justice and in the gracious presence of Honorable Justice C.K. Thakur is organized, it will be a great gala success and will be a path breaker for upcoming Lok Adalats. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Flowers always make people better, happier, and more beautiful. They are sunshine, food, and medicine for the soul. May we request Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice, High Court of Gujarat, and Veteran-in-Chief, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice C.K. Thakur, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. May I request Honorable Mr. Justice R.M. Chaya, Judge, High Court of Gujarat, and Executive Chairman of Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice, High Court of Gujarat, and Veteran-in-Chief, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority. May I request Mr. R.A. Trivedi, Member Secretary, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice R.M. Chaya, Judge, High Court of Gujarat, and Executive Chairman, Gujarat State Legal Services Authorities. May I request Mr. J.L. Odedra, in-charge Secretary, High Court Legal Services Committee, to welcome Honorable Ms. Justice Sonia Gokani, Judge, High Court of Gujarat, and Chairperson, High Court Legal Services Committee. May I request Mr. R.K. Desai, Registrar General, to welcome Mr. Kamal Trivedi, Advocate General. May I request Mr. J.C. Doshi, Director, Gujarat State Judicial Academy, to welcome Mr. K.R. Trivedi, Chairperson, Bar Council of Gujarat. May I request Mr. D.A. Joshi, Registrar Judicial, to welcome Mr. Asim Pandya, President, Gujarat High Court Advocates Association. It's an absolute honor to request Honorable Mr. Justice C.K. Thakur, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, to kindly address today's gathering.
My Lord, the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Chaya, Honorable Ms. Justice Sonia Gokani, Kamal Bhai Trivedi, Advocate General, K.R. Trivedi, Chairperson of Bar Council of Gujarat, Sri Asim Pandya, President of Gujarat Advocate Bar Association, Devang Bhai Vyas, Additional Solicitor General, Manisha Ben Lavkumar, Government Reader, Mitesh Bhai Amin, Public Prosecutor, R.K. Desai, Registrar General, Mr. Odedra, Secretary, High Court Legal Aid Committee, Mr. Trivedi, Member Secretary, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, members of judges, brother and sister judges, members of judicial fraternity and noble profession, and my friends. I'm extremely happy to be associated with this function. In fact, when the Chief Justice told me whether I would be able to come, I was virtually overwhelmed. Then I said that, sir, I may tell you one thing, that in our days, it was up to second LLB. Thereafter, there was Bar Council and Chambering. And even Bar Council and Chambering also, I came here and did everything, and thereafter I became an advocate and started practice from day one in this court. It was persistent say, and insistence by say B.T. Chaya, some of them must be knowing him also. He said that you must go to Ahmedabad and start practice in High Court. I had never seen Ahmedabad also. And I was a little worried also, and I must tell you, and I had said once again and again, that I had my own difficulties. I had difficulties in language, I had difficulties in staying and everything. But then, fortunately, and God is great, and He was great even at that time, and therefore, I succeeded, and fortunately, I was here. So when my Lord said that whether you will be able to come, I said that as far as possible, I don't miss any function of this court. So I am really happy, and I had told him that I will continue to take interest. Now, as far as Lok Adalat is concerned, that concept is not unknown as far as Gujarat is concerned. Mahajan, Vyapari Mahajan, Panchayats, we are aware of all these institutions. Section 89 was there in 1908 Act regarding arbitration. 1940 Arbitration Act came into force and Section 89 was repealed. It came into reintroduced only in 99. As far as Legal Services Authority is concerned, the Act came into force in 1987. But look at the contribution given by Gujarat. I think that the first Lok Adalat was held in 1982, 18 April 1982, when I think MP Chhattar was the Chief Justice at Pune. So as for Gujarat, it cannot be said that something is new. On the contrary, taking example of Gujarat, even during 82 to 89, 82 to 87 and 82 to 99, several Lok Adalats were held somewhere else. Now, as you know, otherwise it is traditional jurisdiction, litigation, which can be said to be adversarial in nature. But then there were several difficulties, and particularly with regard to civil litigation. Even at that time, for several years, it was said that it is very difficult. And Privy Council has said about 150 years back that the difficulties in India starts with the moment the person obtains a degree in the law. This is the position, and in my opinion, it would be the larger interest to hold such adalats and decide cases. There is no victory, there is no defeat, there is no heart burning, and judicial time would be saved, which will be really taken for appropriate proceedings. Legislature and parliament, they are taking sufficient steps. But sometimes it may be that those steps also may result in some more litigation. Section 150, scope was curtailed by amending the provision. Earlier, it was said that unless it is finally disposed of or something, no revision would lie. What happened? Instead of filing and invoking section 115, the lawyers used to file special civil applications or writ petition, whatever you may name, in High Court. Because it is judicial review, a remedy is available under the Constitution. It is not given by an act, but by the Constitution. Therefore, writ petition is filed. It will be taken up by a single judge. Normally, the advocate would write 226 and 227. As per settled law, whenever it is 226 and 227 is written, it is subject to latest patent appeal here or in some high courts, it is the court appeal. The resultant effect is that instead of one, now will be two remedies. Instead of one judge exercising jurisdiction, three judges exercising. This is the position, in my opinion, the larger interest that such process must come on into play. And if it is done, then obviously it will be the larger interest. And mind well, no prejudice to any party. Suppose it is unsuccessful. The remedy is available. And if that remedy is Crown's court, that is traditional court. So in my opinion, it would be in the larger interest if we also cooperate, and particularly lawyers and judges also do it. Once again, I thank the Honorable Chief Justice and the High Court for it.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice High Court of Gujarat and Veteran Chief Gujarat State Legal Services Authority to come and give the educational address.
Very good morning to one and all. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Honorable Justice C.K. Thakkar, Honorable Justice Chaya, Honorable Justice Sonia Ben, Honorable Advocate General Kamal Trivedi, the Bar Council Chairman, the Bar Association President, my esteemed brothers, Manisha Kumar, learned GP, Mr. Devang Vyas, learned Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Mitish Sharma, learned Public Prosecutor, the learned advocates, judicial, I see some of the judicial officers also present here, the learned registrars, members of the print and electronic media, one and all. This Chaya started with a preface that we are all students except myself. I can tell you two things. I would like to share here two things. Even as a lawyer, even as a law student, we had learned from the books of Justice Thakkar, including myself. And even after becoming a lawyer also, we were often seeing the judgments of his lordship. And after becoming a judge, for any application for condonation of delay, there we had that habit of not touching the file if it is 500 days delay. Because we had the support of Supreme Court judgment of Justice Thakkar, AR 1987, SC 1393, paragraph 4. I can quote because even if you wake me up in the midnight and ask me to tell the judgment, it is so imprinted. The words that has been used by his lordship is so impressed me. That is why I considered him, even from my student days and as a lawyer days and a judge days, as my guru. When his lordship says, courts are respected not because it has got the power to punish the guilty, but it has got the power to undo the injustice that has been done or perpetrated. With this, I would like to share only a few thoughts. And the first and foremost was when I was told that I will be coming to Gujarat. At that time, I was the executive chairman of Legal Service Authority, Karnataka. And every time I used to go for any meeting of Legal Service Authority in Karnataka, or even I was also nominated as the member of the executive committee of NALSA. So whenever we had the occasion to share the dais and talk to the judicial officers and all the stakeholders, the first thing which I used to quote was the first Lok Adalat which was held in the country was in Gujarat, state of Gujarat, on 18/4/1982. And I always used to say that Gujarat was holding the first status of the first state for 11 years to be the pioneering legal service authority. For various reasons, slightly it has come down. So now let us all take a pledge, a vow, that from today onwards, we will strive towards excellence. That is, we will see that we get back the glory of Gujarat and make it #1 in the country within 1 year. The reason I say is of twofold. One is that we have a mammoth number of paralegal volunteers. In the state of Gujarat, we have got 2,774 paralegal volunteers and about 3,141 panel advocates. So this constitutes our workforce. And it is they who are called as foot soldiers who will be able to deliver the goods at the taluka level, at the village level. Lok Adalat is one of the components of the legal services. When Article 39A was introduced, where it was held that even equal justice and free legal aid. This was the reason which made the lawmakers to introduce the Legal Services Authorities Act. And this had been in the helm of affairs headed by Legal Aid Board in the beginning. Later on, it was given to the high courts and district courts and taluka courts, and now we have everything structured. So we don't have anything to worry about. Funds is not a constraint. Only thing is a bent of mind or a passion to do justice. I give you a small example. Once, when I was an advocate, I had a client. I have practiced in trial court also. I have told in many number of platforms, and I will share it here also. For 4.5 years, I was in trial court. So one client came to me one day and said, "Sir, you have to file an eviction petition against my tenant." He was working in railways as an assistant general manager. Somewhere in North India, he was working. He said, "Sir, 1.5 years, I'll be returning back. I'll be retiring. I'll be coming back. So I have given my house on rent. I want it back." He's not giving. And then we find the eviction case. You know, at that time, eviction cases, the lawyer used to first they appear and say, I will be appearing in this case. He will not file even wakalatnama. Then memo of appearance, then wakalatnama, then order 6 rule 5 calling for better particulars from the landlord. That application gets rejected automatically. File a revision and under 50 to the High Court. If chance it gets stayed, the tenant is lucky. It used to prolong and on and on. So by the time 1.5 years was over and we could not get the vacant premises. And he had to take a premises on rent. After 1 year, he said he came with a summons. Said, "Sir, my landlord has filed a petition for eviction. Sir, you do one thing. ये मैंने केस डाला है, कितना खींचने को होता है उतना खींचो. And in this, where I am the tenant, please see that you prolong it as much as possible, but make it sure that in the eviction case which I have filed, you get the order of eviction as early as possible." Same person in dual capacity. So this is how the human mind works. So I told fortunately I knew both the lawyers who were appearing. So we called them, I told them, let us settle this matter. And at that time, the Lok Adalats were not much, somewhere in, I think, 89 or 1990. So we settled and each agreed to give 3 months time and they vacated the premises and they were all happy. This is one aspect. Another one was, I sat for a settlement in one case as a conciliator. A young advocate who was appealing for the tenant came. So we had a discussion, both the landlord and the advocate, tenant and his advocate were present. After discussion, the tenant said, "Sir, give me 6 months time, I'll vacate." So the landlord was initially he said, "No, not more than 3 months." Then we put wisdom into his mind. He agreed and he said, "All right, sir, 6 months." So the agreement was drawn. Before it could be signed, the tenant advocate, everyone had gone out, the tenant advocate came and said, "Sir, one request, sir, please." Very young advocate. I said, "What is it?" "Sir, please ensure that this case is not settled." I said, "What is this?" "Your party himself has agreed." "Sir, somehow you make out some reason and see that this matter is urgent. Next time I will talk to him and I will tell him, don't agree for settlement. I will give you 5 years." But then I asked him, "Why?" He said, "Sir, let me be honest. I have started my independent practice about 8 months back. I have taken a premises on rent. It is 1,000 rupees every month rent I am paying. And electricity and water charges are 400 rupees. And this tenant he is giving me every month 500 rupees for conducting the case. So if you settle this case, I will use this 500. I was, this is what you sometimes I call emotional blackmail. So what to do? So then I told him all that, and I gave him philosophy and everything, and I said, you agree, you can't do this. And ultimately he had no option. Since his client had already signed the agreement, he also signed, and it was closed. I also forgot about that case. And after about 3 years, one day while walking in the corridors of the High Court, suddenly he came. I had shifted, by the time I shifted practice to High Court. And suddenly he came and said, sir, how are you? And thank you, sir, for the settlement. He said, what is this? On that day you said, don't settle. Now you are saying thank you. He said, sir, by virtue of that settlement which you made them to enter into, that client, he belongs to these weavers, small weavers, hand weaving. So there's a particular part of Bangalore where there's a lot of weavers are there, small cottage industries. He has sent me about 5 clients to me, saying that he's a very good lawyer, he will get you good results, quick results. Now, I'm telling you different ways how the mind works. So this is how this settlement, why I gave the example of this landlord and tenant. These are all the cases which can be settled in Lok Adalat. Landlord and tenant, debtor and creditor. The bank suits, written statement is filed, or denying bank existence, branch existence, everything, including in the written statement, blank papers were taken from me by threat, force, and coercion. And ultimately, last but one penultimate paragraph will say, in the event this court were to arrive at a conclusion that the defendant is due and like to pay the decretal amount, he may be granted 25 EMI equated monthly installment. This is the stock difference, normal difference. So whether these issues are required to be resolved through court process is the question we'll have to put forward. And some of the cases, matrimonial cases, custody of children, maintenance, these are all which can sit across, maintain the good relationship. It is a win-win situation for everyone. So what I propose to say is that we should see that the maximum number of cases are settled through the alternative dispute redressal mechanism, that is Lok Adalat. Though apart from other platforms are there like mediation, conciliation, and arbitration, Lok Adalat is one where win-win situation. Both parties win and both parties can be happy and the relationship can be saved. And before I conclude, I would like to just say, during pandemic in Karnataka, when we did these settlements, usually partition suits we were getting about 25 cases throughout the state. One here, one there. And sir, I can say last Lok Adalat, I think it is on 21/10/2021, or just earlier to that, in the month of August 2021. There were 2044 cases of partition suit settled in single day. So we ourselves were shocked. We asked the judicial officers to find out the result. What was the reason? Why? The background with which this sudden change came about. And the reason, sir, we came to know was all of them who had filed the suits, they said, sir, we are in pandemic situation. We are all 70 plus. We don't know what will happen to us tomorrow. We want to settle. And in one case, I have told them to put it up in the website of NALSA, where the parties, brothers and sisters, the brothers who had said initially no, they were giving to the sisters who take this property. Sisters are saying no, we do not want your property. We want your love and affection. Each one of them, about 29 members, all of them were crying because, not because that they were able to get the properties, because they were able to go to each other's house after about 17 years. They had not attended any functions, marriages, or anything in each other's family because of litigation. So this made the settlement to come around, and the pandemic also got converted into an opportunity. And I am not saying that pandemic should continue or any such thing, but only thing is where even a situation like this can be converted into an opportunity and make use of it. And for this, I would say that we should have a vision. What we should do for another 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. And to achieve that vision, we should have a mission. We should have a missionary zeal. Lawyers have come large in numbers. We have identified last time when myself and Justice Chaya had thought of this Lok Adalat, we had started identifying the motor vehicle cases. And we came to know we have identified nearly 3,000 cases. If all these cases are settled, we will be very happy. And we want everyone to participate in this Lok Adalat with a zeal to ensure that we wipe the tears of that poor litigant. Recently, I saw in one case here in Gujarat, 1999 accident, 55,000 rupees was given. Enhancement of the compensation. And the compensation was enhanced by 40,000 rupees. So if we had given that amount to that injured person in 1999 or 2000, and after 22 years, we are giving that 45,000 rupees. You see the power purchase of the money value of that. It has completely gone down. Whether we are doing real justice, we like to put ourselves these questions, and for ensuring that we should be more concerned about not docket explosion. We should be concerned about docket exclusion. Those persons who do not come to the court because they are more worried. So this is where the role of the lawyers, the bar association, and the bar council, that you will have to undertake the legal awareness program at every village level and taluka level. So with this, I wish this National Lok Adalat, which is being held today across the state, a great success. And now, today the program having been, the mission having been inaugurated by none other than the father of our Gujarat judiciary, Justice Thakkar, we thought whom we should invite. Justice Shah, I was told, was not physically capable of visiting, so he expressed his inability. Justice Nanavati is no more with us. So I said, Justice Thakkar is my undeclared guru. So we'll invite him. Readily, Justice Chaya Saab and Justice Sonia agreed. And that is how we have invited Justice Thakkar Saab. Sir, we are thankful for you for having raised this occasion and invoking your blessings for this mission to be successful. I thank all the learned advocates who have come in large numbers, and again request them and appeal to them to see that maximum number of cases are settled before lunch session. And with this, I thank everyone. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. A mere thank you would not justify our gratitude to one and all present here. Therefore, may I now request Honorable Justice Sonia Gokani, Judge, High Court of Gujarat and Chairperson, High Court Legal Services Committee, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries of the dais.
It's a matter of indeed a privilege and enormous pleasure to be present on this occasion, which I call a peace parva or a event of peace. It is said that in the company of wise, one becomes wiser. One has always seen that the Gujarat judiciary has been guided. Not only this judiciary, but across the country, as my Lord the Chief Justice has said, it's Honorable Justice C.K. Thakkar, who is as rightly, and I also would second Justice Chaya when he says it's a living encyclopedia. His Lordship's contribution academically has been enormous, and each of us is going about it. This has been recognized by none other than Lord Denning. Particularly on the administrative law, Lord Denning said, your contribution, I got, your contribution for India rivals, that of Sir William Wade. I am keeping it in a foremost place in my library. Kerala Law Times reports that, I quote, all in all, these treaties stand out as one of the best scholarly and practical authorities on the subject. I am the books on the administrative law, civil procedure, criminal laws are not only appreciated in India but across the globe. And therefore, it is our privilege today to have with us His Lordship, Justice Thakkar, who has also always guided and today also has guided, graced the occasion and blessed us. Sir, thank you for coming here and spending your valuable time. You know how Lordship has been here. Let me express my gratitude for and on behalf of the High Court to the Lordship, His Lordship and Honorable the Chief Justice Shri Arvind Kumar, whose indomitable spirit, as we all have in just here now, has seen is unmatched. His Lordship's passion to do justice and to serve the citizens speedily and effectively with strong academic bent has always made it possible to throw light on every subject. Strong convictions and matching preparedness to take this occasion to a different level also deserves a special mention. Thank you, my Lord, for being there. We also have amongst us a silent and robust contributor, dedicatedly and relentlessly working for every cause. Man of a few words, and yet he would always be ready to contribute effectively, even on academic front, whenever asked. Huge contribution on the part of Brother Justice Chaya we recognize in shaping this event, a mega Lok Adalat. Thank you, brother. Let me not in any manner forget the important role played by the learned advocates on both the sides. The bar has been very strongly supporting it, and because of that, we've been able to do it. Since the representative of the bar, the senior advocate, Mr. Pandya, is here. Mr. Pandya, thank you for that. And all the advocates on the claimant side as well as on the insurance side have been supporting us. They've extended the full-fledged support and also given the valuable inputs, as also expressed their difficulties experienced by them if they're not in a position to accede to our request politely and yet firmly. We do that. We would request for more constructive and continuous support from both the sides. It is what we owe to the society, as His Lordship, Honorable the Justice Thakkar and my Lord the Chief Justice has said, which has given us this present position, status, respect, and whatnot. Let us give back to them that speedy justice with which they all deserve. This event may not have become possible had our officers would not put in so much of their energy and methodical work, which they've been working relentlessly, and we recognize on behalf of the High Court and on my personal behalf their contribution. The learned Registrar General and his entire team has been putting it. We also have to make a special mention of Mr. Rahul Trivedi, the Member Secretary, Mr. Orindra, Secretary, High Court Legal Service Committee, Mr. Joshi, Registrar Judicial, Registrar IT, and of course our new entrants who have come before us. So all of them have been working. I am not, because of the time constraint, not giving the names, but we do acknowledge the contribution each of you have made. And this is how, this has been. We know that we've been making you run, but thank you for all of you being there and always there. Today's valuable bench partners of ours, each of them. We may not name you, but thank you very much, brothers and sister judges. All of you, we know that without your support, we could not have done it. And honorable, those brother and sister judges were not present for some reasons, but they've always been extending the support for us. The senior advocate who have come today and who have agreed to be with us, we know that how valuable it is to each one of us these weekends, and yet you spared your morning hours for that. We are thankful to you. Some of the aspects I would just, before concluding this, would say that, as the Honorable Chief Justice has said, maybe in our near future, when we continue this entire exercise, we would like to have some dedicated creed of young lawyers for MSCP in the High Court, which would be, of course, they would be continuously trained, and there'll be the workshops also, which is under contemplation. We would be expecting that support from each one of you. Then creating the awareness, since is a task of the Legal Service Authority, there also your contribution would be invaluable, and the pre-litigation conciliation, which will be a continuous process, we would expect each one of you to. In the end, we would say that this being an occasion to bring the succor to all expeditiously and to their satisfaction, and as my Lord the Chief Justice has said, it's a win-win situation for all of them. Would say that let us all strive to do this. Would end with one my very favorite, which says, "Akash to barsega, aaj kal ya parso, ya fir barso ke baad. Beech to hona chahiye, mitti se sneh hona chahiye." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Keeping with the green spirit and in view to felicitate all these dignitaries on the dais, may I request that we shall offer them with saplings. May I request Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice High Court of Gujarat and Veteran in Chief Gujarat State Legal Services Authority to felicitate Honorable Mr. Justice C.K. Thakur, former Judge of the Court of Gujarat. May I request Honorable Mr. Justice R.M. Chaya, Judge High Court of Gujarat and Executive Chairman, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority. Felicitate Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice High Court of Gujarat, Veteran in Chief Justice. May I request Mr. R.K. Chudawala, Registrar Recruitment and Finance. Felicitate Honorable Mr. Justice R.M. Chaya, Judge High Court of Gujarat and Executive Chairman, Gujarat State Legal Services Authority. I request Ms. Neepa Bin Rawal, Registrar Law and Inquiry. Felicitate Honorable Ms. Justice Sonia Kukani, Judge, High Court of Gujarat and Chairperson, High Court Legal Services Committee. May I request Mr. Mulchan Tyagi, Registrar Vigilance. Felicitate Kamal Trivedi, Advocate General. May I request Mr. Hemang Rawal, Registrar. Felicitate Mr. K.R. Trivedi, Chairperson, Bar Council of Gujarat. May I request Mr. A.T. Kukran, Registrar, SEMS and ICT. Felicitate Mr. Asim Panya, President, Gujarat Advocates. May I now request each one of us to rise for the national anthem.
तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाए तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे, जय हे, जय हे, जय 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 हे।
I'll request everyone to join us for the high tea at the banquet.